Hey guys, welcome to Jane Talks again. It's been an interesting week. Um, I've been doing some reading of Stephen Covey's works, and right now I'm rereading the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and I find it interesting how you can read something and get something out of it, learn something, apply it to yourself, what have you, and go back and reread it and get something totally different out of it. I guess it's true what they say that, you don't need to borrow tomorrow's trouble. Just deal with what you have today and don't worry about tomorrow in some of those ways. So today I kind of wanted to touch base on a couple different things. So first of all, since I mentioned about reading in this book, the one thing that's really stuck out to me so far is I was reading the chapter on the overview and about habits defined. And it was talking about dependence, independence, and interdependence. And I guess I had never really thought it through with the simplicity that it was explained. So I'm just going to read you something real quick here. So, dependence is the you. You take care of me, you come through for me, you didn't come through, I blame you for the results. Independence is I. I can do it. I'm responsible. I am self-reliant. I can choose. And interdependence is the paradigm of we. We can do it. We can cooperate. We can combine our talents and abilities to create something greater together. Dependent people need others to get what they want. Independent people get what they want through their own effort. Interdependent people combine their own efforts with the efforts of others to achieve their greatest success. And when I applied that to myself and thought about that, it was really interesting to me how I realized, looking back over these years and kind of what's happened and trying to grow and learn and go forward from that, I think it's interesting how I was very dependent. I depended on my parents, and that's as it should be when you're young. But I never really broke that. I continued to depend on my parents, and then I depended on my husband. I never really developed or grew into Jane. I depended on others to make decisions for me, or I compared myself to others, maybe that I admired or thought I should admire, and tried to make myself and my thoughts coordinate with what I thought theirs were. I'm not sure if that really makes sense, but in my mind it does. Anyway, so when I moved out, I think I realized, actually even probably before that, when I started realizing what had happened to me as far as the abuse and what that did to me, and that something needed to change. When I realized that I couldn't continue to do what I was doing and expect a different result. So that's the definition of insanity. And so, in a nutshell, what I realized was I needed to be, I needed to grow up. But I think my fear of going back to being controlled and abused, my fear of that caused me to go off the other end. So I was totally independent. I don't need anybody's help. I can do this. And I feel like that was probably a good thing for the reason that it gave me the confidence to realize that I can do things. I can make intelligent decisions. I can have confidence in my own abilities to think. So I think that was important. But now, going forward, now from here, right now, this place, I need to be more interdependent. And that's exciting to me because I realize that, you know what? I do have good friends around me. Like I talked about last week, those the 555 of positivity. I have good people in my life that I trust, that I admire, that I respect, and I can share with them when I'm scared, or it's normal to have all of those feelings. It's totally normal. And it's okay. It's okay to share that, and our friends are there to help us through, and while they can't make our decisions for us, they can still support us and say, hey, you know what, you got this, I'll listen to you, I'll give you my opinion, but the ultimate decision is yours. And we can have that confidence. So that was that rant done. I'm sure most of you have probably already learned that, but some of these things are I guess new to me, and it's exciting. It's exciting to me when I understand these things about myself and realize that, you know what, I might be over 40, but I can still change. You know, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I don't know how old you have to be, but you know, I can do this. So the next thing I want to just touch on really quickly is I wanted to I know that over the past few weeks I've talked about my finances and how that's a huge, I guess, burden to me, or not really burden, I guess, a concern, a definite concern. So I wanted to tell you how I made out in July, and going back and looking over. I think I mentioned that I broke things down into weeks when bills were due, and I focused on 1 week at a time. So I'd break down what I'm going to pay that week, and I wouldn't be tempted to pay anything else. That's just what I pay that week. So I did really well, and I managed to save $500. For me, that's huge. I know it's not much, but it's better than nothing. So my goal was to save $8, and so I was a couple $100 short from that, but all of my bills that I wanted to get paid got paid, and I still managed to save that. So I'm proud of myself for that first month. And I'm looking forward to this month. Again, I've sat down and I've broke down my bills week by week, and I think it's going to be a little bit tight. I'm a little bit concerned, but I'm not going to get discouraged. I'll get there, and I'm looking forward to paying off all those bills. I will be very close by the end of the year if I can stay on course. If nothing bad happens, I'll be very close to being credit card free, no debt on credit card, and that's really, really, really exciting to me. I've been paying, as I think I mentioned this, I've been paying cash for everything, cash for gas, cash for groceries, all of those things, so that I'm not tempted to use credit and then get farther behind and have the principal on those accounts and bills get even higher. So I'm excited. So have a great week. Enjoy. For those of you that don't like the heat, I hear there's supposed to be a little bit of a break in that. The temperature's supposed to drop. So have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.